Hello, I'm Paras,
And I'm Siddharth,
and today we're going to be presenting our physical experiment.
that we would like to see in space.
And so, what are we going to do today? So, for our experiment, we're going to explore whether it's possible for four-wheelers to run in space. We know that NASA is planning to send probes to asteroids which have very little gravity, hardly anything. So we want to see whether the probes will be able to run on the surface of the asteroid, or will we have to use rocket fuel to push the probe across the surface.
Seems easy, doesn't it? On Earth. And imagine that happening in space where there's no gravity. So what our experiment says is that it helps rovers drive on asteroids where there's practically no gravity. So we have designed these three types of wheels. One is normal standard wheel with no sort of attachment. Simple wheel. The next wheel that we have designed is one with the same rubber padding, but also with friction pads. And the third type of wheel is one wheel with just spikes. And no, we're not talking death metal, they're just spikes. So what we try to do here is use these three wheels in a sort of simulated asteroid. So what we have planned is a sort of sandbox environment.
Okay, so just as my friend had previously explained, we're going to use sandboxes to simulate the surface of asteroids. So what is this basically? We're just going to have a rectangular strip, approximately, whatever, it'll fit the dimensions of the experiment. And we'll have the rover over here. The surface of this sand pit will be made of either granulous sand, fine sand, or rocky sand. So what is the difference? Fine sand is easy to flow. It is made of small particles. So in our prediction would be that the rover will find it more difficult to travel in fine sand because there's less friction over here. Our prediction is it will just kick up the sand. The next one is granulous sand. That is a sand with slightly coarser particles. So we will see that, and our prediction is the rover should run just fine in that kind of sand. The next one is rocky sand, and where we're going to put it on rocks. And our prediction is it should work. A bit more. Since the wheel is going to strike the surface of these rocks, there's going to be a force that's going to act on the wheel normal to the direction that's on the surface of the rock. And since there's no other opposing force to oppose that wheel, there's no gravity to decelerate that force, to stop it, to counteract that force, our prediction is the rover would just go ooh and off the asteroid. Okay, so now second segment is we're going to test how fast these rovers can travel on these various surfaces.
First, we will fill up the sandbox with fine sand and test it for three types of wheels. The rubber one, the one with the friction pads, and the one with the spikes. Whichever one travels more smoothly, that will be the preferable one for the fine sandbox.
Okay, so this will actually help enable NASA to decide what type of wheel should they put for their rovers when they're traveling across surfaces in microgravity environments. Because in microgravity environments, the situation is different.
The second sand pit will fill up with granular sand. That's the second type of sand that my friend mentioned. And again, we will test it with three types of wheels. The the rubber one, the one with the friction pads, and the one with the spikes. Make sure the spikes are not metal because they could
We're going to make them out of hard rubber.
hard rubber. The third sand pit will have a sandbox filled with rocky sand that will simulate a more likely environment of an asteroid. So again, we tested 3 types of wheels. Rubber one with the friction pads and one with the spikes.
Just as a note, this size of the gravel sand is actually a bit exaggerated. The sand will just have slightly larger than fine sand, but that will change quite a lot about its properties. And this will actually just be rocky. And most likely in asteroids, we will find this kind of sand. So yeah. So now the next question is, how are we going to control the speed of the rover? So to control the speed of the rover, we're going to use a remote control. Okay, which will be able to control this rover, and hence we will control the speed of the rover using this remote control. And yeah,
Safety precautions. Things that you should keep in mind when you conduct this experiment. We do not want anything to happen to the equipment you use or to any of the people around you.
So to prevent any accidents from happening, firstly, the specific wheel type of the rubber, the pointed pin wheel type, cannot be made out of metal. You have to use rubber because hurt and could possibly injure the astronaut. Secondly, the sand pit will be covered by a piece of paper. Why is this so? Because if any sand is kicked up, we don't want it to go around the entire space station. So this paper prevents the sand from going to other parts of the space station.
We hope you enjoyed our presentation and we hope you consider our experiment to be conducted in space.
The end by
Is it hard?
and Paris.